Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Monday, February the 2nd, Groundhog's Day. Time for the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 and a little extra treat for you here at the end. So we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. First off, we're glad you're here watching our streaming show. Remember, we do this every night at 9 o'clock. We've now added a 2:30 stream on weekends in addition to the 9 o'clock stream. So 2:30 across the board now, 7 days a week. You'll get an extended weather presentation and one that you can respond to. I am watching your comments on the 14 News Facebook page, so be sure to chime in there if you have something on your mind. Well, we had a quiet day out there and we finally broke above freezing. We thought it would never happen. Unfortunately, we have more wintry weather on the way tomorrow. An alert day for tomorrow, Tuesday, mainly mid-morning through the afternoon. At that point, we're expecting some rain or a wintry mix to move in. And while we're not looking at a lot, just minor accumulations, really not an accumulation, but rather just enough on the surface, especially these cold roadways, that we could see some slick spots again developing during the midday commute time when people are out around lunch hour. And then possibly some fog in there as well as we introduce rain over this very cold surface across the tri-state. Our hour-by-hour forecast draws that line between the wintry mix and rain right along the Ohio River. And basically the trend here has been to keep the wintry mix north and some rain or a rain-sleet mix south of the river. Any liquid, though, that comes down will likely freeze on contact, at least right off the bat. Then as we get more, hopefully it will melt. And if the roads have been treated, the treatment will do its trick. But any untreated roads I'd be worried about, particularly, and this is opposite, these are going to be the roads that don't have air coming underneath them because the ground is so cold and holding that frigid condition out there. Bridges in that with the wind going under at 35 degrees, it should be just out of the danger zone. But anyhow, it is a very narrow window of time that we're looking at where we would likely see that freezing out there. Winds will shift back around to the north and take our temps back into the 20s then on Wednesday morning. The only alert that we have on the board is a winter weather advisory, and that's more for Louisville, Cincinnati, and it drops down here to Lexington. That's where we could see maybe just a little more accumulation, but more likely some slick road conditions out there. Our fog forecast has changed dramatically. It was pretty fogged up earlier, but now it's keeping us generally clear in the morning. We made it 10 days below freezing. We never cracked 32 degrees starting back on the 23rd of February, so that makes it the third longest run of sub-freezing days that we've had here since we've been keeping records. If you go back to 2021, we had 11 in a row, and 2001, really frigid there, 18 days below the freezing mark. Over the next 7 days, we will punch above freezing several times and actually approach normal, which this time of the year is around 43 degrees for that afternoon high. Our current temperatures now are in the middle 20s, so we're back below freezing, of course. Feels like with that light breeze out there pulling it down a degree or two in most spots. And our temperature here at the station is at 26 degrees with dew point at 22. So it won't cool down too much more. Quick review here of January. Since we're only 2 days into February, not much to show you there. Our coldest day was actually a week ago when we only got up to 9 degrees, and our warmest day happened on the 8th. We got up to 67 that day. Seems like we had some storms in there too. I think we were bracing for severe weather, but we had only a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that night up around. It seems like it was in Wabash County and up that way, Gibson County too. I think we even had a weak F0 tornado maybe. Memory is failing me here at the moment. Lots happened this month, mainly on the winter side of things. For the season now, we're at 14.7 inches of snow, and that is 8 more inches than we typically would get. We are also the 5th snowiest January since the snowfall records began in 1948. So we're in pretty good company there. Of course, the 70s probably will stand for a long time there, 77, 8, and 9. But 96 was the last time we had a rough January snow-wise with 13.5 inches of snow. That string of days, or I'm sorry, the cold days have kept our snow around too. In fact, our snow cover, the snow on the ground, still stands at 6 inches. And that is a long run of days there, 9 counting today. And, you know, we're in 3rd place. I mean, the only other 2 years where it hung around longer were back in the 77 and 78 winters. And those were really kind of the winners for all time. If you're old enough to remember, they were the real deal. Not that the stuff that we've had hasn't been disruptive and yucky, but those were pretty big blockbuster type winters. Right now we have clouds moving in from the northwest, and a warm front will actually arch up our way tomorrow, and that will provide the moisture and the lift to get that rain or wintry mix across the area. Once it gets out of here, then we are in for some dry weather for the remainder of the week and the weekend. So we're finally going to kind of put the snow on the back burner and just concentrate on trying to warm things up a little bit. By warm things up, maybe 40s in there a little more frequently than we've had. Our next weather maker, possibly early next week in the form of a wintry mix or rain moving up from the southwest. So that's on the far horizon there, and details will follow. And just as a quick comparison here, since we have more time here on the weather show at 9, I'll show you the European model. Really, it's not bullish on any rain next week even. It keeps us dry all the way through Sunday, and maybe a little rain venturing up here Tuesday, Wednesday, but it did not, and Thursday. That's very late, long in the forecast cycle there. 25 degrees tonight with maybe a little patchy fog. Tomorrow 37, again cloudy for the most part with that rain-snow mix arriving around midday. Over the next 7 days, we do have some 40s showing up on Friday, 44, Monday up to 45, and we have highs above freezing over the weekend. And our longer range temperature outlook actually pushing those temperatures warmer than normal, and also the rainfall or precip near normal. Our weather pick tonight, our pet pick tonight, this is one of those Aussie doodles. See the blue eye and the brown eye. Very stunning dogs. This was sent by Leo. I actually just said Leo. Leo might be the dog's name. Sometimes the comments in the where you submit photos over there on 14 News don't give me a lot of information to go on. Okay, let's see if we have any questions or comments, and we'll get those in. What do we have here? We got Cheyenne Hammonds. Good evening. Lakenya Everhart. Please no snow. All right. It's not going to be snow, but you won't like me tomorrow, especially if we get that little glaze out there. Laura Gray down in Dawson Springs is ready for spring. You and the groundhog. I think the groundhog said 6 more weeks of winter. What does the groundhog know anyway? Zach Seats, is Evansville expected to get severe weather next week? No, not that I know of. If you're thinking of that system coming up on Monday, way too soon to say. And in fact, that wasn't even showing up in the early models. This is the later GFS that I showed you. So we'll take it one day at a time here. Suzanne Daly, still slick on your driveway. Yeah, there's just no getting out of it. Jeff Miller, enjoyed out and about from Poseyville. You know what? You beat me to it. I'm going to show that again. We've had such response on that. I thought some of our friends here on the 14 First Alert show at 9 might enjoy seeing that. So we're going to do that in lieu of Science Corner tonight, although we can talk about the chemistry behind sausage and pimento cheese. How about that? I learned a lot, actually, and I'll tell you a little backstory after we look at it here. Let's see. Drew Rapp, rain, sleet, or freezing rain tomorrow. Yes, all those things are possible. That's why we had the First Alert Weather Day for tomorrow. Thoughts on the groundhog today? Well, it was a split decision because the groundhog out in Pennsylvania, in Puxatawny, said 6 more weeks of winter. I guess it saw its shadow. Isn't that how that works? But then they had another groundhog in Chicago that said early spring. Of course, if you're in Chicago, you know, you're always going to have to try to just encourage folks to hang in there a little bit longer. Shannon is ready for that snow to go away too. And how do I think the bridges will be tomorrow afternoon? Michelle King, rather. You know, I think they will. I don't think the bridges are going to be the problem. I think it's going to be the pavement that is actually on the ground. You know what I mean? Because the ground is so cold. And yeah, and then I have a request here. Let's see, can we see time lapse for tomorrow morning? Sure. That's why we're here. That's why it's interactive, because I can do that. We can play your request. Now let me go back around here. I got to find it. I put a lot of stuff in here. There we go. We can really analyze this thing too while we're looking at it. So I think it started here a couple frames beyond. Yeah, let me back it up. Okay. Oh, now that's gonna. Okay, here we go. So as we go through tomorrow morning, so here is 11 a.m. We're showing the snow up here north of I-64 and a little rain mix. And then by noon, which would be right about there, 11:30, 12, you see that rain moving in, and the divider line here with the snow, basically, you know, 64 north. Remember, I mean, you can't take it right down to the zip code on this thing, but the general idea here is Kentucky would probably be liquid or rain, and the northern half of it there, north of the Ohio River, would be some sort of mix. Here's noon, still showing a little rain in there, and then 12:30. And notice here, this is only about a 3-hour window that the rain is even moving through. And then you see here by 1 o'clock, we're still looking at some rain and maybe a little changeover or mix there. So it's a real tricky situation tomorrow. And by that I mean, because of the cold ground temperatures, if the rain is very light, kind of a fine rain or tiny drops, it'll have a much better chance of freezing, at least initially. As we get more water on the surface, then we should have that latent heat release and we would melt. But it's that transition that we're worried about, and that's why we have the alert day in. And I know a lot of schools are going back tomorrow, some like on a 2-hour delay. The last thing we need is to have like icy roads at noon. Hopefully that won't be the case, but because we're talking about just a tiny, tiny amount of liquid out there of rainfall. Okay, I hope that got your, who was it that asked here for the, Shauna did. Okay, got you, Shauna, good, thank you. Afternoon temperatures 34. Yeah, that should help with the roads, but again, we're kind of fighting against ground temperatures that are probably in the 20s, you know, as cold as it has been. So it's a real tug of war there between the ground and the air above it. Okay, so I'm going to show you this piece, and I'll tell you a little story about trying to get this piece. This was the Out and About that ran today, and if you're new to this, I've been doing a project here called Out and About, and I go out and just talk to people, basically let them tell their stories. And I've gone to a lot of different places, and there was a store in Poseyville. I often go through Poseyville, Hirsch's Market. And so Susan Wetterholt, who runs the store, I called her up, and she couldn't have been nicer, said, yeah, come on up. And so I hung around in the store, and this is what happened. And we'll try to get that for you here. And I'm Jeff Lyons, out and about today at the Hirsch Market in Poseyville, Indiana, with Susan Wetterholt, owner-manager. How you doing, Susan?
Just fine.
Tell me about this store. This is a wild place.
Well, this store's been here for 110 years. We are unique in the fact that we have a ladies' shop with giftware and a full-size grocery store. It was my grandfather's store, then my dad and my uncle ran it, and they both are deceased. I now run it.
I guess one thing about your store is you can stock local.
Yes, we do. Right here we have barbecue sauce, wing sauce, hot sauce that our town marshal makes. It sells great. We also carry school items that one of my past employees from when she used to work here in high school and college makes them, and she sells these here. Still in the women's department, it's the accessories, and this is one of our local, actually it's not really a company, it's my granddaughter's. She makes hats. and donate some money to a nonprofit group called Jacob's Village. We carry all kinds of jewelry. It's very unique. It's actually out of Zionsville, Indiana. So it's a local company in Indiana. I'm excited. We're open 8 to 5:30, 6 days a week. Right now we have 18 employees. We are considered a supermarket. We have everything you need. You wouldn't have to leave Poseyville. Produce department, this is the one that I take care of personally, just because I'm picky. I want to make sure we have very good stuff. For 110 years, you think, I've heard of too many small stores that had to go under. I feel pretty proud that ours is still here.
Tell me about your meat department. What sets it apart?
We make our own sausage, our own ham salad, our own cheese spread with secret recipes, and our hamburger is made fresh continually daily. Start from the meat and grind it all the way.
When I started working here part-time, hamburger was on sale for 29 cents a pound 52 years ago. When I was growing up, we always butchered, and when I got married, we butchered too. I learned a lot from my dad to always do everything the same way and keep it in the counter the same way. And people will come back all the time, and they have over the years. It's just a great place to work. So Nancy's just about like a sister to me.
I do the grinder, I do wrapping, I do the slicer, I do the tenderizer, but I do not do her job.
My favorite thing to do here is to weigh baby.
And we get a towel and we lay it up here and weigh the baby, or we lay it up here.
That started a long time ago. So just bring their kids or grandkids up and we weigh them, and they get a sticker and they are weighed as prime rib.
You see people for 33 years, and the younger kids that we knew growing up, they're married and got kids. So then you've got different generations of kids, people coming in here. So you see them all.
Susan, I appreciate you taking us through the store. We've seen
Thank
it
you.
all.
Thank you.
Lots of great stories. With Susan Wetterhold, I'm Jeff Lyons at the Hirsch Market in Poseyville, out and about. All right, well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And of course, you can watch all the out and about segments on 14news.com. So if you want to check those out, you can. And if you have ideas for me to go out and about, you can share those too. I'd appreciate it. There's just no end to the possibilities on stories out there and great people. And one of the reasons I've been doing this project, I've been here a long, long time, 38 plus years. And I met so many people and been to so many places, I thought somebody ought to talk about this more. And not just in a breaking news way or when something burns down, but just kind of, feel-good stories. I want to feel good when I watch a story. So hopefully that made you feel good too. The funny thing is, when it took two attempts. I went and shot a video the first time, and I used a wireless mic on my people I talked to. And I got back and the wireless mic didn't work, and so I had all these beautiful pictures and awful, awful audio. So I called Susan Wetterholt, the store owner manager, back, and they were so gracious. The ladies in the butcher shop, even Sharon and Nancy, they all wore the same outfits that they had on, so the shots, there'd be continuity. And I put the mics back on them, and then they had completely different things to say. So it wasn't like a scripted or canned thing. And it was more fun, so I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, Katie, the young woman who was putting the ground beef in the machine, she was not working that day, so she didn't. We didn't hear her. We saw her. But yeah, just a terrific group up there, and a cool store. I'd been in there to buy German bologna a couple times and didn't really think about it. And then when I started this project, I thought that'd be a good place to go. So apparently, a lot of people are sharing it and liking it. So that's the whole idea here too. All right, let me go back around here. I know this is a weather show, so let me answer any other weather questions. Paula Schaefer hopes this is the last rain and snow for a while. Well, it is. We should get all the way, Paula, into at least the first part of next week without anything. Michelle King can't believe that EVSC is going for a 2-hour delay. Well, I don't make that call. Given the condition of the roads, that makes perfect sense. Hopefully, tomorrow will be a non-event. Okay, I think we got everybody else answered there, so I really appreciate you watching the First Alert Weather Show here at 9 o'clock. And I will be with you on 14 News at 10, as always. And then Byron Douglas will be in here tomorrow morning. And we repeat the whole process again with Arden Gregory in the afternoon. And I'll see you at 14 News at 4, 5, 6, and on the stream show at 9 o'clock. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good night. I'm Jeff Lyons, out and about today at the Hirsch Market in Poseyville.